Hey everybody, EQA Nostalgia here, and today's topic of discussion is combat in EverQuest Next Landmark. Now, this is something that people have been talking about a lot on the forums for a while. There's been a lot of speculation over this topic. Now, I was one of those people who did not think that EverQuest Next Landmark was going to have combat in it. I kind of figured they were going to save all of that for EverQuest Next, but I was mistaken. So obviously, I'm pretty happy to be mistaken about that, and we found out during the live stream on the 13th of this month that Sony did that yes, we are indeed going to be getting combat, and they also made a comment saying that they're very interested in seeing how that plays out with the new AI. Combat isn't going to be coming out right away, so we're not going to see it in alpha, and we're not even going to see it in closed beta. They mentioned that they want to get the game out there as quickly as possible, and it's taking them some time to get the combat ready. Which is perfectly understandable because if the AI is really advanced, it has to take a long time to program all of that stuff. However, when combat does release, I'm sure we can look forward to new drops coming off of the monsters, things that we can use for materials and stuff like that. And interestingly enough, they did confirm that there's going to be a day and night cycle in landmarks. So that begs the question, are we going to see different types of animals and monsters during the day and at night? I think it's really cool if they do that, and especially if there's certain monsters that you can only get certain things from, during the night or during the day. And with the emergent AI that they have in the game, it makes you wonder if animals are going to have specific ways that they behave, like maybe certain animals will only come out to hunt at night and stuff like that. I'm guessing that certain animals will be in certain biomes or zones, if you will, at certain times of the day. I mean, you might have a more successful hunt for things like deer or wolves near, say, like maybe a pool of water where they go down to get a drink. I mean, this is really advanced stuff. I know it's kind of far-fetched, but, if it's emergent AI, you never know. They could put some really cool stuff like that in the game. So it's just really exciting to think that you can kind of form like a hunting party instead of just, always crafting all the time. You can just go out and hunt. And I know people absolutely love to do that from games like Skyrim and Far Cry 3. People love that stuff. Maybe we'll have sharks that we can go into the water. We can craft a spear or something and kill sharks. The things that they can do with Landmark are really limitless. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they can do, and it's very exciting. And whenever I get talking about Landmark, I start to think about Minecraft, which is only natural, and I start to think, are they going to have a survival mode? Now, as much as I'd like to see that, I don't know if that's going to be possible with Landmark because it kind of entails a whole different game mode. I mean, some people might not want to deal with that when they're crafting. It's nighttime and now it's dangerous and you have to get inside. So they'd have to open up new servers and stuff for that, and I'm not certain if that will actually go over well. But yeah, I think it would be really cool to see stuff like zombies and ghosts and werewolves and all that spooky, creepy stuff come out at night. I mean, if you've been following my channel long enough, you know that I absolutely love RPGs and MMORPGs, and my other favorite genre is survival horror and survival games. So yeah, it's just kind of wishful thinking to have two of my favorite genres put together. And that brings up another point. There's a lot of people saying that Landmark's just a building game. That's not necessarily true. It is going to be an MMORPG. Like Dave Georgeson said, it's just going to be an MMORPG where you build things. And once you add in the combat element, you start to see how it really does start to turn into an MMORPG. And you are going to be playing the Adventurer class. And that class, as I'm sure most of you are aware if you watch my videos, is going to be transferring over to EverQuest Next. But, that's not to say that EverQuest Next isn't going to be more of an MMORPG, because it is going to be. But still, I still consider Landmark to be an MMORPG, and to see some survival horror elements in that, or just wilderness survival elements, would be really awesome, and I look forward to hopefully seeing something like that. And that brings up the point of craftable weapons. What kind of weapons are we going to be seeing? Swords, shields, bow and arrow, maybe even magic items that we can use. Now, there is something I forgot to mention in my previous video, is that there is going to be abilities in EverQuest Next Landmark. Abilities like being able to fly around that you might be able to unlock. So one has to question how that's going to work during combat. Are you going to be able to just fly around everything and just shoot at it with a bow and arrow? Maybe when you get into a conflict or you get into combat with something you can't fly. Possibly having maybe a building mode that you can toggle on and off that only works around buildable structures. I'm thinking something along those lines, like maybe you can only fly around when you're near your actual claim or somebody else's claim that you're participating in. Just because I think it would ruin it if you could just fly around and kill everything. It would just be completely overpowered, and nobody wants to see that. Actually, I shouldn't say nobody wants to see that. I'm sure there's a few of you out there who would love to fly around, just killing shit with a bow and arrow. Yeah, now that I think about that, that seems like it would be a lot of fun, just flying around shooting stuff with a bow and arrow, or flinging magic spells at it. But I highly doubt they're going to allow that kind of stuff to go on, so I wouldn't get your hopes up. And whenever I think about combat and weapons, I start thinking about armor, and armor is something that makes me very happy. I mean, let's face it, one of the reasons why we play MMORPGs and games like EverQuest is because we want to look cool. We want our characters to be dressed up really cool. And we've already seen some of the outfits that are going to be in those packs, but those are probably just outfits. They're probably not going to have like any armor values or anything like that. However, I could be mistaken. They might have some sort of combat modifiers on them, or if they don't from the start, they might actually add them later on. So there's quite a few things that we have to learn about this combat system, and hopefully over the next few months we will get some details. Now, before I wrap this up, there is one more thing I want to touch down on, and that is crafting professions. And when I say professions, I'm not talking about like putting up buildings and stuff like that. I'm talking about maybe fishing, trapping, fletching, possibly even learning how to track animals, leather working, tailor working, armor smithing, jewel crafting, all that good stuff. Now, Sony did confirm that there would be crafting in the game, but we don't know if it's going to entail all of that stuff. It might just be, like making a workbench and crafting blueprints and stuff. My take on it is they're going to save most of that stuff for EverQuest Next, and that's not really going to be in EverQuest Next Landmark, but I could be mistaken. I didn't think that there would be any combat in Landmark, and look how that turned out. So leave a comment down in the comments section, guys. Discuss this kind of stuff. I like to read all of that. Let me know what you think about combat. Do you think they'll have like a survival mode? Do you think maybe they'll have crafting? Let me know. Make sure you take a moment to like this video. It always helps me out. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe because I am your man for EverQuest Next and Landmark. A big thank you for taking the time to watch this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.